and Matiz needs to change. And I think they jumped right in because StriKeR is in another match and it is observable.
Okay, cool. Let's hold fire just 1 second. I'm just going to use the bathroom quickly, and then we'll jump into game number 2. So, yep, people are asking, yes, it is a best of 3. I will just be 1 second, and then I'll queue that up and jump in.
For sure.
So, bear with me 1 moment, guys. I'll be back in a tick. Okay, let's do this. I'll go ahead and start the observe. Cool. Just loading up now. Cool. Do you want to introduce this one? Oh, are you there, mate?
Yep, I'm at 5 seconds.
Okay, cool. Yeah, do you want to introduce this match?
Yep, for sure. Count me down.
Cool, sweet. Okay, so I'm at 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, everybody, welcome to game number 2, StriKeR versus Matiz. This is the finals of the Storrn's Stress Test Cup. Potentially the very first Age of Empires 4 tournament. And we have on the blue StriKeR. He won game number 1. He looked dominant. He looked fantastic with that HIRE, double stables, and just pressuring, making sure that Matiz in the red here did not have an economy to build a potential army and continue his play. We're gonna see if this is gonna be a repeat of game 1 and StriKeR taking the very first win, or if we're gonna see something different out of Matiz and what strategies they might be coming up with.
Very exciting game. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether Matiz does adapt to the gameplay that we saw a little bit earlier. Very neck and neck competition. They both dropped double stable. They did slightly different build with the different landmark decisions. Be interesting to see whether that changes. I figured that maybe Matiz will stick to that game plan. I think it's a solid way to go about your build. But yeah, we did see StriKeR did take the advantage with the military upgrades. He really did make a lot of benefit out of having those. So I imagine he's going to go for that exact same game plan again. There's no reason for him to change it. It's a winning recipe. I've seen him win 2 games with that already. He does sometimes go for 2 TC pushes, but it's a little bit more passive. So yeah, maybe he'll stick to the aggressive play. We're seeing Matiz dropping wood now. He's got 3 on gold, bunch on food. So won't be too much longer until we see the landmarks come down and we get a bit of an idea whether these guys are going to do the same thing again.
Yeah, I think seeing the 2 prelates from StriKeR tells me that he's going to go exactly the same build order, and no prelates from Matiz might also be telling us that he's going the exact same thing, because as soon as he's going into that age up, he will get the prelate out and then he will put it into the chapel for the bonus. You can see that already he's putting all of his resource gathering spots close together. That is going to maximize the effect of that plus 40% gathering from the villagers, and the other side getting everybody off gold for StriKeR and into the wood now that he has enough for the landmark, I believe.
Yeah, both are now just dropping their landmarks. So yep, same landmark decision again for both players. We've got 3 units building that one, 4 units for StriKERs. Okay, interesting. I'm very curious to see how that develops like what the most efficient number of villages will be to build your age up buildings. So I'm very curious to see how that pans out. Actually, both got 4 on their construction. I was wrong there. I miscounted that. So yeah, both players neck and neck here again. Big difference being Matiz is still taking gold. StriKeR off gold. Doesn't want any gold anymore. He just wants to rush those prelates and get enough gold to get up to the feudal age. And then he abandons that idea because he knows his stables, his horse riders or horsemen, sorry, they're just food and wood. So focus food and wood, get that early advantage, then transition into gold a little bit later when you need to put castle age pressure on your opponent. So I like this. We saw in the last game, yeah, Matiz had so much gold. There's no need to have all that gold. He could have had those villagers collecting food or wood, giving him a military advantage for being able to pump out more units. So, yeah, see whether he changes that up.
What's most unfortunate is that in this particular map generation, you can also see that Matiz doesn't have easily wallable spots. He has a really open front that is not going to lend itself to be, you know, walled off or at least funnel through some of the stables that I think we're gonna see, and indeed we're seeing the first stable, we're gonna see a second one from StriKeR. So StriKeR, I think, is just gonna play it back. He's gonna do exactly what he did in the last game. He wants to push, he wants to punish the economic focus of Matiz. And Matiz going into that stable, I don't know about that. I think that, you know, maybe if he sent out his scout and saw the stable again, he should be going maybe barracks and try to get some spearmen out, try to get something else, because the last time he went double stables, it didn't really work out for him.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what he could do if he took a little bit more of a counter position with maybe playing a little bit more defensively, trying to build up his eco and just stop attacks and then move out onto the map. But yeah, I don't know whether playing defensively is the right choice against somebody like StriKeR. Because he is very good at the macro build up behind his attacking. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this pans out. We've got 2 up for both opponents. Horsemen being produced, moving out onto the map. So yes, let's see how this kind of early feudal engagement transpires. We're seeing the blacksmith going up right now for Matiz. Maybe he's learned from that previous game that he was at a disadvantage due to upgrades, and we might see that change up.
Indeed, and you know what I mostly want to see right now is the difference that the blacksmith bonus for the main work landmark has here, because I don't think, from seeing the landmark, StriKeR hasn't researched any of them yet, but they are 25% cheaper than in a regular blacksmith, so he's gonna be having to pay quite a bit more, Matiz, to get the same upgrades that StriKeR can get. And like it might be a little bit of momentum if StriKeR gets those upgrades earlier, then Matiz is going to be having to play catch up with that.
Yep, absolutely. We're seeing the early economic upgrades coming in from the mill. He's got the scout on the hunt again, and he's got the survival techniques on the way. And we see him queue up his melee damage from the blacksmith. So Matiz is learning from his previous game. Both players actually now ticking into that. So that's Bloomery. So their melee units will get +1 attack.
And so it is double stable for both players. Both are putting out a lot of horsemen. This is going to be a cavalry battle, it seems, at this moment. And it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top. Right now, Matiz has a slight advantage in the field because he's fighting near his base, so any reinforcement is going to get there quicker. But the reality of cavalry is that, you know, it is a long travel, but it is made all the shorter by those horses.
Oh, we're seeing a third stable go up for Matiz. Maybe he is thinking, I really need to be able to outproduce this guy, so he is going a little bit deeper in. Did he have 3 stables last game, or did he just stick on 2?
He won with a barracks for the third
right.
military production. So yeah, interesting.
Only disadvantage there is they're slow.
Yeah. So we're having an engagement here. Numbers are pretty equal, but again, field advantage for Matiz. And as long as he keeps them away from any gathering, from any villagers, he will have a little bit of an advantage. The thing is that StriKeR might be thinking, I maybe can mentally overwhelm Matiz by raiding different spots, so we might see StriKeR divvy up his force and try to attack something like the lumber camp at the back. And speaking of which, I would really like to see Matiz go a little bit more on lumber and maybe add a lumber camp closer to the wood, because with 3 stables, you're gonna need 50 wood for each of those horsemen and 100 food. So you need to get those 2 riding in the clock and producing, and getting now the fitted leather work for Matiz. That is gonna give him more armor on those cavalry. That's really, really good. But here comes a raid against the wood.
Oof, and he's getting a good surround there. Ooh, okay, let's have a look. So we got 1 unit by the looks of it. So nothing too crazy, but yeah, a little bit of a panic and idling those villages. He also, at the same time, like you were saying, he hits the berries at the front, so he's doing split attacks. He's distracting his enemy on the wood line, and then he's hitting the front of the berries. I love seeing that sort of tactic. So cool.
And
he's having to garrison all these villages. Yikes.
Yeah, and the major force for Matiz was just following that unit from StriKeR, which was enough to get, I believe he managed to get like 1 villager. It's not a lot, but at this point it's not really about dealing lasting economic damage. It's about taking Matiz off his footing, because he also had to push those villagers off the wood for a little while. That is going to slow down the income for Matiz.
Seeing a huge engagement here. Looks like Matiz actually coming out ahead on that one and pushing out further into the map. I don't think we saw him this far out on the map in the last game. Did we? I actually can't remember. I feel like StriKeR kind of had him cornered the whole game.
No, Matiz is pushing now with his triple stable. I think knowing that he has those upgrades, he's feeling a little bit more confident to push forward, but he should be careful to not be super far forward. And the thing is that he also gave up a lot of map information on the early game, which means that, for instance, there is a granary in the hunt for StriKeR, and I highly doubt that Matiz is going to have the presence of mind to go and check something like that right now. He actually has 2. He has 1 on the east and another one a little bit north of that. So StriKeR is not having to do that scout going into the deer and bringing it back strategy that Matiz has to do, which is just taking a pretty big mental load on his head to be able to consciously bring back that scout, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the big disadvantage of using it to grab the animals is, yeah, actually, right now we are seeing 3 horsemen up in the top going towards that granary, so we might actually see a raid here. This is huge for Matiz.
Yeah, if he finds
a little bit of the initiative,
he needs to not be. Oh, there we go. He finds them. Absolutely.
Yeah, he could kill all of those easy. And you see, back at his base, he's using the prelate to heal up his horsemen, which is a big brain move. But he's getting a huge raid here on the woodline. Oh, this is really bad. That's so many villages. That's a huge blow to Matiz's economy. Yeah. 27 villages versus 36 now. Oh my god. And he's hitting the berries at the same time. These 2-prong attacks from StriKeR are so good. Yeah. That raid on the hunt for Matiz was huge, but not as big as that damage that was just inflicted on him.
Yeah, Matiz needs to be careful now and not think. Oh, you can even see that StriKeR pulled back from that other granary to make sure that he wasn't getting raided there either. But he might pull them back in, and there is still a fight going on near Matiz base where these 2 cavalry units are...
I love this.
Yeah, they're just running each other on the edge of the map, seeing where they can start a fight, and it might be here. Great split by StriKeR, though.
Very good split. This guy's got a very brilliant military mind. And he's hitting the front again where the berries are. It's crazy, man. He's just everywhere. He's going straight into this wood line. Look at him. He's found the berries. This is not
that is going to be a big kill. That is really bad. And Matiz realizes and immediately sends force back.
Actually, that wasn't as bad as what I thought it could be. But you see this sort of stuff in Age of Empires 2. You see knights, you see cavalry archers, you see everything running around the map, right? But there is something so immersive about the dust rising and the way that the sound engineers have done the horses galloping and the men shouting that makes it so much more immersive and exciting to watch. It is so cool.
Yes. And you can see again StriKeR pulling, kiting all of those horsemen back, and right down in the south, another big force coming in. And I think Matiz he should be trying to cut on to that every time he's splitting his units, there is another group, another patrol that is gonna try to get there. And the thing is that when you look at the people that Matiz has on wood, right now it's barely 8. That just tells me that, you know, he's not gonna be able to maintain a really strong cavalry count if he keeps going like this, because the berries are gonna get attacked again. And this time Matiz doesn't report 1, 2.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of deaths.
That's 4. Oh man, that was
Matiz
4 villagers.
Matiz has like a very strong advantage in terms of military count. StriKeR is just making the same moves over and over again. We're seeing a raid from Matiz on StriKeR's base, but just attacking a mill. No, dude, keep moving. Find the villagers. Yikes.
Yeah. Looking at upgrades, StriKeR has all of the blacksmith upgrades, and Matiz could get one more for ranged armor, but he doesn't really need it, so that's fine. Oh, and big raid for Matiz. He's finally getting a raiding against StriKeR.
Yeah, Matiz, although StriKeR's hitting those berries again. Yikes, man, this is just so... this is intense. We're seeing so many cavalry clash all over the map. Lots going on. Hard to keep track of everything. How are these players controlling all of this simultaneously? It's amazing.
Yeah, no, incredible presence of mind by both players right now to be thinking about their raids as well as, you know, protecting against their bases. And right now getting a couple of echo upgrades for Matiz. They have to really start thinking now about H3, and particularly I want them to think about lasting defenses, things like outposts, things like walls. You know, for sure you couldn't wall your front at the start of the game, but now maybe have a couple in stone. You have a stone there, you could potentially wall it off, or try to just have some units there, some villagers gather stone and put up some stone walls and protect yourself. Try to force someone like StriKeR, who's been coming in and out in this guerrilla tactic with the cavalry, to pick and choose channels that you have vision on.
We're seeing StriKeR split his army apart again, and this is going to allow that top unit, if it wants, to loop back and hit Matiz's base, whilst all of these units are out of position. We're not going to see that happen, but StriKeR is just brilliant with his unit movements. He just knows the right place to be. Matiz has broken off a bunch of units heading down towards the gold, but a lot of them are very low on health. If they get hit by other units, they're not going to last very long. But we're going to see, oh, this could be a decent little raid for him. Nice.
Let's see how many kills.
Okay.
No kills. He should pull back. He does. The thing is that he attacked the gold, but StriKeR has 1500 gold right now. So it's not like it's actually making him a favor at the moment by pulling villagers out of the gold, because it really, right now he doesn't need it. And I don't like that Matiz pulled a strong force out after the race, or like in between the raid, because he could have gone in and raided now with that big fat raid, while StriKeR was trying to push back the smaller, weaker raid. And I think Matiz now realizes that he can do the exact same strategy that StriKeR was doing against him. But there is something very important to remember. StriKeR has a market, and he has enough resources to go up an age, and I think he just did it. He is building the Burgrave Palace. He's gonna be getting that 5 times barracks. I would not be surprised if he goes for the Langsharks, who have AoE damage and are gonna have massive upgrades from the get-go.
We're seeing Matiz maybe learning a little bit from StriKeR's tactics. He's distracting him with the units on the gold down south, whilst he hits with a very strong force north.
That is a beautiful attack.
Yeah, good job there, Matiz. I love the way Matiz adapts and changes his game style. that shows he's a very, very
Oh
competent
my
player.
god, that's like 8, 9. That's gonna
He
be
could
10
deny this.
villagers killed. That's
He could
massive.
Sorry, he could
Yeah.
deny that age 3 landmark as well, but he's just going for the mill. I don't think he sees it yet, so well, he's going to get a bit of. Oof, he should just run out of this. He should not. He's just going to have to cut his losses and run here, I feel.
Yeah.
Whilst meanwhile he's hitting the gold again. Now Matiz is starting to split StriKeR apart. StriKeR just gets to the castle age though. Yikes.
Yeah. Pretty interesting to see the economy for both players. Matiz at 35 and StriKeR at 26. But StriKeR also has 13 idling right under that landmark. He needs to get a move on those 13 because half of your economy right now, StriKeR, is not moving. You are not using half of your economy. There we go, finally. Getting them. It would have
So
been
much
really
going on.
Yeah.
He's hitting that gold again, killed a villager. He's splitting his army off now into like small little sort of raiding parties. I like this from Matiz. I don't know whether he's going to be able to claw his way back economically speaking, but he's done a very nice job here. StriKeR has caught up with military numbers. He has been caught up for a little while now, realizing that Matiz was producing from 3 stables instead of just 2.
And
so yeah, StriKeR adapting there.
If you look at the income per minute right now, Matiz is just running away with it in terms of food. That berry raid that he did is massive. There is a 700 food per minute difference between these two players right now. That means that every cavalry unit that StriKeR loses right now is incredibly valuable. He couldn't get it back immediately, and that's a big fight.
That's a huge fight, and we just saw the attack upgrade come in for StriKeR, so this is a perfect time for him to take a big engagement. There's a lot of cavalry around the back here that are not doing anything though. He should have maybe microed them around and hit from behind, rather than have them just spill around the back. This is looking like a pretty hectic engagement. It's hard to determine who's coming out on top. I'll show military numbers.
StriKeR,
yes.
I think StriKeR is gonna come out on top.
Yeah.
And I think that might be GG, honestly. Because that's a lot of horsemen going around the base, and they can torch everything. They can torch the houses, they can torch the production buildings. You know, this is a knife in the neck sort of fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And StriKeR taking the advantage of upgrades in the castle age, getting there before his opponent, and just really pushing that message home. I have superior technology.
Yeah.
We're seeing him, he's raiding, he's getting a lot of villagers kills. Yeah, he's really asserting some dominance here.
Those horsemen are up to H3. There is no way that Matiz can recover, and now those horsemen are free to destroy everything they want, and they will. That is StriKeR taking the finals.
GG.
I want to say, Matiz, hats off to you, mate. You evolved past that first game. You realized your mistakes. You knew exactly what you needed to change from one game to the other, and I think he gave StriKeR a run for his money on this one. He evolved.
Yep, absolutely he did. It would be very interesting to see if it was a longer format, like a best of 5 or a best of 7, whether Matiz could evolve even more to keep up with the StriKeR. But yeah, he's asserted his dominance on this tournament, and he has won. So StriKeR takes first place and Matiz second. So huge congratulations to him. We'll take a look through the results of the statistics at the end of the game, and then we might see whether StriKER's interested in coming and have a chat with us. Maybe we'll hit him up.
I do find it very funny, the stone count in the timeline. I just think it is the funniest thing ever. You see a 20-minute game and no stone gathered.
Flatline.
Absolutely no stone for neither player. Nobody thought for a second to get something with stone. That was pretty impressive. And you can see this is kind of what I was talking about with Matiz in the last game, floating so much gold. If you look at the gold count, you can see StriKeR. He was just getting gold, getting gold, getting gold, getting gold. He built a market, which we don't have marked here, but I can guarantee you know exactly where the market was built. And then he went into H3. And I think that's what Matiz should have done in the position that he was before. To just say, hey, I have a ton of gold, I'm gonna get a market and guarantee my age up, because once I have level 3 horsemen, I am gonna be able to fight better fights.
Yeah, Absolutely. Um, just going through the total score here. I'll just flick through the tabs. You guys can take a look at it. I won't bother reading it out. You can take a look. Actually, yeah, we'll do this, and then do you want to see whether we can get StriKeR to have a chat?
Yeah, for sure.